Man, I would be lying through my teeth right now if I said this was very easy. But it was not. It was not. Welcome back to another video. And today we have Sky Strikers Diamond 1. And it was like sweat and tear, man. Sweat and tear. Pun intended. Anyway, let's get to the deck right here. So, this is a pre-recorded video, of course, because I still cannot log in on my PC. Well, yeah, friend just sent me this video so I can do the deck profile. So we go from left to right. So first off, I think this is probably like the hardest or like the worst matchup up to date for Sky Striker in Master Duel. It was already hard during last month for me, I think, but it wasn't like that consistent to get the Shizuku card into the graveyard. But for this month, they're always in the graveyard. So your Kagari is gonna have like a big problem resolving, and we will have 2 of them. Granted, you will get 3 at the end of this month, but it only gets worse from here because Bestial, right? The Bestial, once they came out, Raye is just gonna die to the banish pile. It's very dangerous. Anyway, grab your seat because this is nothing short of a spectacular, thing. Anyway, our deck today, I try not running any floodgate because I like the going second variant with a lot of board breaking potential instead of just flip a floodgate and call it a day. And you don't even have like various choice of floodgates in Sky Striker because you do need the graveyard, so you cannot run like Macro, Cosmo, Dimension Fisher, all that stuff. Cannot run Soul Drain because then Raye is just gonna die. So you could run like Kaiser Colosseum, I guess. But I don't think I don't think that works against here because they just gonna pop it with the field spell, and you're gonna be surprised how many times they did that. And also, a bunch of things that happens. I gotta say that this is my most favorite non-trap decks of all time. But yeah, it's really rough. It's really rough, and I'm quite like excited when I reach Diamond 1. Never been before, by the way, because all the deck I did before is like easy Diamond 1. Even Sky Striker in the Sprite format, you just activate Dark Rule no more, blowout card like Raigeki Dark Hole, and they just fall over. This time it's like on hard mode or something. Going second is like going through the puzzle and break the board with the pieces you have. This time it's even more challenging because there's an aftermath. Even if you break their board, they just guarantee to come back because they are tier. They don't have bad cards. They don't. So any card they draw is a potential combo. So we only have like 1 blowout card here, which is evenly matched because the most efficient, right? You don't run Raigeki because that makes no sense. Dark Hole makes no sense. And even though you can resolve the evenly match with the Shizuku card in the graveyard, it's not as simple as just resolving evenly match and win. They could still win because theoretically speaking, if they have like 4 or 5 Mudora, I mean 3 Mudora and 2 Kelro in the graveyard, or even 1 to 2, your next 2 turns is still gonna be rough because you can't resolve Kagari, and Sky Striker is slow. So with that in mind, I think we did it. And I have no idea what we're gonna do in Bestial format, but hey, let's just enjoy it today. Decklist, let's go. Anyway, first off, I run like a lot of hand trap. First of all, we have DD Crow. Of course, it's still an amazing card for dealing with tier. And by running 3D Crow, I could potentially disrupt them. I'm also 3 Maxi, of course. My initial statement about Maxi, or when to Maxi, is still sticks because you never Maxi on the effect of either Shiren, Merly, or Halfness to summon Kid Kalos. No, you don't Maxi there. Unless you have 2 Maxi, of course. Actually, one of the replays, you're going to have like 2 Maxi in one game, and then I decide just to roll it because I have 2. If you just have one Maxi though, do not use Maxi at that time. You use Maxi when they use the Kit Color effect to special summon a T-element monster from the hand or graveyard, or they use Shiren effect to activate in the hand to special summon. In that way, they just like commit over commit already, and if they stop there, their field is just gonna be very weak. You don't just throw Maxi at the summon of Kit Colors, obviously, because then they just search a sharp card and they end their turn, and then their board is still freaking powerful. So that's the Maxi. We have DD Crow Maxi, and also one Ghost Spell. First of all, because it's an ultra rare, I don't want to craft more, and also it's like a once per turn. So I prioritize something that is not once per turn because tiers activate a lot. And next up we have Skull Meister. So I decided to use 3 DD Crow and 3 Skull Meister. Skull Meister is interesting because with DD Crow, you don't need to worry about them chain blocking you, right? This Skull Meister, you might have to worry about that because if they just chain block, you cannot negate what you want to negate. But the thing that Skullmaster had that DD Crow cannot replicate is that it can negate Kelbeck, Keldo, Mudora, and also Agido. So in situation like that, once you negate the Shuffler, that might be game changing because your Kagari is gonna resolve, and yeah, it's gonna be nice. So DD Crow is nice because it cannot get chain blocked, but Skullmeister is also nice because they can negate the Shizuku card as well. So keep in mind. So I have to run a bunch of those. Of course, next up we have 3 Raye and also 1 Roze. The the Tale as Old as Time, and also Happy Feather Duster is a very interesting card. You would think that it's very bad in tier because their sharp card is all like activatable. And then they go into the graveyard, and then they can search a T-element monster. I would say that even though it's true, you still need this because specifically Floodgate deck that runs right now to counter tier, and also sometimes you also need to blow up the Pillar Rhino, the field spell. So that field spell on the field is going to be very annoying, and probably the same reason I'm also still running Afterburner, by the way, as you can see later on, because even though their effect is technically pretty bad against here, but they just have one field spell card that is so strong that you cannot ignore it. You just need to pop it somehow, and make sure that after you pop, you have a safe position to be in. Next up, we have Mind Control. I'm running 3 Mind Control and also 1 Change of Heart. We're gonna get 2 Change of Heart soon, so very happy about that. The most efficient form of removal against here, of course, you just take control of them. You cannot wipe them out, Raigeki or Darkhold, so you take control of them, you link them off for Zeke or Dr. Dark Charmer, because sometimes I take 2 of them, and I don't have enough Zeke to make them. You can only make Zeke 1 per turn, so you have to run Dr. Dark Charmer in the extra deck, which I do have. Next up, we also have 1 copy of Reinforcement of the Army, of course, and we also have 2 copies of Engage. Not sure when we will get 3. And here's the Afterburner. Here's the Afterburner. Technically bad, but you still need to run it a searchable out for the field spell, because the field spell staying there is just very dangerous. You cannot leave it there. We have double, triple tactic talent, double, triple, and to make a Multirole. This one is still kind of important. Sometimes you can force a negate a T-element crime out of this, because if this resolve, they cannot activate effect in response to your spell card activation anymore. So they kind of force to negate this, even though your hand might have technically nothing at all. But once you activate this, the crime, it cannot negate the effect. It hasn't negated the activation. So if they want to negate it, they have to do it now. And of course, they don't want we get too free with this field spell. So sometimes this is very useful. I still run Call by the Grave in Sky Striker because it is a spell card, and also it's like a it's basically like a shock cannon that's not searchable. It's still useful, of course. It's not as strong because of the shuffler, but at least if they shuffle back their material, they cannot fusion anyway. So just running this as extra copy of Shock Cannon, also more flexible that way. We have 1 Hornet Drone and also 3 Widow Anger. And next up is Shock Cannon. So at one point, I did run like more than 1, maybe 2 or 3. But I figured that It might be not that useful. Maybe let me just put Call by the Grave in, because sometimes they don't have the shuffler in the graveyard, and Call by is just gonna shut them down for 2 turns. That's probably more important. And you can search a Shark Cannon by using Engage anyway. So yeah, I prioritize a Call by the Grave after a few games running multiple copy of Shark Cannon. And also, just for clarification, at no point in this video we use the same deck, of course. So I have to modify my deck a little bit. This is a final deck list that went from Diamond 3 to Diamond 1, because I made the run from Plat 5 to Diamond 1, and it was very rough. It was very rough, and it was a valiant effort, but we made it in the end. Anyway, this is not the time to talk about it. Let's go continue with the deck profile. And next up, it's a very interesting spell card. I'm very happy I'm using this. Tia Strike. It is, if you play Sky Striker, you're gonna have a feeling, a fantastic feeling of using your monster to attack a 1500 attack monster. What happens is that you're gonna kill it, and then your Raye in the graveyard is gonna jump back, and you punch again, and you shoot your Raye, you go into a Nod and you punch again. So for that concept, you have Tia Strike. During damage calculation, right? During damage calculation, if your monster battles an opponent's monster, your battling monster attack becomes that opponent's monster attack. So technically, you could use this as a form of removal for Rukalos, let's say, or also Rhino Heart, because they're kind of big. And sometimes you don't just draw Mind Control and change apart that easily, right? Or Widow Anchor, maybe you don't have enough spell in the graveyard because they have the Shizuku card. And Tia Strike is a very efficient form of removal. It also burns your opponent. If you punch like a Rukalos, you're going to get 3000 damage. And that's very important. And that leads me to a point where this is the good stuff right here. So if you use this on Hayate without any Raye in your graveyard, or assuming you have Raye, but then they use a shuffler to shuffle her back, but you can still use Tia Strike on Hayate. You attack, you destroy them by battle, you send the Raye to the graveyard by the effect of Hayate, and then you just jump straight back to the field. You can also use that for Roze as well, because if you destroy one in the extra monster zone, it's gonna come back that way, and that's pretty funny to me. And it's also in a damage step, so they cannot interrupt that, because once they shuffle all your Raye back, thinking that they would get the free things out of this. No, it's not like that. It's Tia Striker, Tia Strike, almost like a striker card right there. But yeah, this card, I'm very happy I run this card. And also sometimes I have to normal summon DD Crow to punch over the hero, the mask hero Dark Law, and then we could keep playing. It's also in a damage step, so yeah, there's little to no interaction between the monster there. Also use this one to kill an Aether Mask. That's kind of funny. So yeah, run this card, very nice. We also have 3 Linkage as always, a way to get to the damage we need, and finally we have 3 evenly matched. Now, you might notice something. I took out Upstart Goblin. Why am I not using this now? The thing about this is that it ties in with something I said earlier about tier. Even if you manage to break their board, they are guaranteed to come back because they don't have bad card. They're just gonna draw what they need. So they're all animate protagonists, right? Careful about that. So that means I have to finish them fast, and I have like a lot of games where I'm like 1000 short, or like 300, 200, and then they just come back. They just need to draw a Shiren, a Merle, or a Rhino Heart, like basically anything, like half of their deck, and they're just gonna come back. So you need to close the deal very fast because you don't have the luxury to wait. Against like Runic or something, yeah, just keep waiting. But against here, I don't think that's the way, so I took out Upside Goblin. Obviously in some of the replays you still see Upside Goblin because I was testing back then, and of course it's my downfall in some of the games, but of course it's still good. Upside Goblin for the 3 spell card in the graveyard, but I just realized nowadays they just go like Agido and Kelbeck and mill for you anyway. or like you have 3 in the graveyard, but then they shuffle back with the shuffler anyway. So it just doesn't matter. So decide to cut Upside Goblin, maybe a ballsy decision or something. It works. I mean, it works. We have 2 Kagari in the extra deck, 3 Shizuku. The Sky Striker lined up still the same, 2 Hayate and also 2 Kaina. Kaina is very clutched. I don't know if you realize this, but Kaina is very clutch. I use it a lot, and also sometimes you just fail to break the board, so you just go Kaina to buy a little time and then top deck the next one. I found Kaina very useful, so I used to use 2. I could use 3, but we don't have slot for that. We also have 2 Zeke, very useful. Once you use Mind Control or Change of Heart, you need this to link up. Dharc Chamber, as said above. Also Knightmare Unicorn, and Accesscode Talker. Accesscode Talker in one of the game, I actually regret taking it out because I could have won with it in the extra deck. Like I took this out at some point, but then I regret it, so I put it back in. And finally, Underworld God has a close word in case they build some tower or something. Of course, it's not tier that builds a tower. It's like some random decks that does stuff. But yeah, that's just that's basically it. Oh, this deck's profile is so long. It's like 16 minutes. Okay. One last look at the deck. We reached Diamond 1 with it. Very happy. Here comes a replay. Hopefully you enjoy it. I'll see you next time.